Cenk Uygur is in the crosshairs of Emma Vigeland, friend of the show, Emma Vigeland, because he said, I asked Elon Musk to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon. And he said, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and Democratic leaders have never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populace is disdainful to them. Now, which side seems to be more open and inclusive? Which side seems more welcoming? And which side tries really hard to drive you away if you disagree even a little with orthodoxy? Which side is asking for suggestions, and which one is demanding compliance and obedience? Autism Capital says, your pivot has been fascinating to watch. Oh, I hadn't considered that Republicans might not be genuine. I'm a rookie, so that's a shocking revelation to me. Show me the time Democrats even asked for suggestions on how to cut the Pentagon from me, you, or anyone else in their base, so I'll take a conversation on it. I said, I don't think a defense contractor who happens to be the wealthiest billionaire on the planet is going to genuinely listen to your concerns about what parts of the budget they're going to cut. This is preferring someone lie to you rather than one who doesn't even do that. Is ready to go. He's ready to fight, dude.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about Cenk Uygur and his pathetic capitulation to fascism yesterday. Let's call it what it is. His betrayal of progressivism, his betrayal of leftism, and yes, a capitulation to fascism. Speaking of blue sky, I wanted to quickly throw up our friend Lance's tweet, or his post rather. But as he says, pathetic capitulations to authoritarianism. When fascism is defeated, don't let them rebrand once again as people who were always opposed to it, rather than opportunists whose morality is based on proximation to power. And I thought that was better put than I could say it. So shout out to Lance from the Serfs, and he includes in this post these screenshots from Cenk Uygur that we're about to talk a little bit more about, as well as Joe and Mika, who obviously also have kissed the ring of Donald Trump, went to Mar-a-Lago to become buddies with Trump once again. I think Lance's point is certainly correct. And I think this plays into a larger trend we're seeing, one that's really disappointing, Zach, specifically compared to the way many people on the left reacted under the first Trump administration, at least on the onset of the first Trump administration, which seemed to be, at least for the most part, a desire to seriously resist the man, to resist his fascist agenda. It seems like a lot of people now, I think specifically as evidenced by Cenk and Anna, they're taking a different tact. They're taking a different approach. And it seems to be more along the lines of, if you can't beat him, join him, which is really unfortunate and specifically troubling, considering that the left-wing media ecosystem, the left-wing media sphere, is already waning in power. It's waning in relevance. And to see some of the most prominent so-called leftists online jump ship in order to save their brand in the short term, so they can remain relevant for this, couple years of the Trump sugar high, rather than taking their job seriously, standing up and speaking truth to power. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And it's really just, it's depressing.
Yeah. And it also functionally debases the left's resistance, right? It makes it look like it was all a show. It validates every argument that Donald Trump ever put forth, which is that they're only attacking me as a fascist because they hate me because of their views, right? Or they get views off of attacking me, right? They don't actually believe this. They want you to tune in, so they're calling me Hitler, but they don't actually believe it, right? It's just the MSM attacking me, right? It's just journalists being fake. And it allows him to continue and gives him ammunition when he fires back at the fake news media, right? When he calls every accusation a witch hunt. When he says, look at me, they tried to bring us down. They tried to bring us all down. But what could they do? They couldn't do anything. Now they love me. They have to come in there. And it makes it look like it was all just a charade, right? Like I tweeted the other day, why do we do our show in the style of WWE ringside broadcast? It's because in America, political commentary is all a work. Okay, you have Mika and Joe. You have Cenk Uygur. He calls himself the host and the leader of the Home of Progressives, right? He was making the case 2 weeks ago that Donald Trump is a fascist. In fact, he just went on trigonometry less than that after the election and said, no, I am double and tripling down on Donald Trump is a fascist. He has fascist tendencies, and no, I will not backtrack on that. Well, then why are you trying to work in his cabinet? Gavin, if you were living in 1935 Germany and you were stalwart opposed to the Third Reich, to the Nazi rise and the entire party, would you then say, you know what, guys, I think it'll be better that I'm in the system, making sure that we're cleaning up the line budgets, making sure that we're not overspending at the Pentagon? Are you fucking nuts, man? It completely invalidates every point that we spent here when we were trying trying to really inform people of the threat of Donald Trump, because Gavin and I, we didn't lie to our audience. Donald Trump is a fascist. I do not want to work with him. I know that he's being insincere when he offers to work with you. Don Jr. is replying to Cenk to pat him on the head and to win over support and make it seem like he's going to do something about it, just like he made it seem like he was going to resist the Mike Pompeo-ification of the Trump administration, the cabinet picks this time. What did they do? Neocon, neocon, neocon.
Yep. Yeah, how did that go for the populist right who wanted no neocons in the Don Jr. also assured them that he was on it, right? That didn't work out very well. But let's revisit Cenk's original tweets in case anyone is unaware of what spurred all of this drama, all of this condemnation of Cenk and TYT more broadly and the strategy. So Cenk says, hey, Elon put me in charge of the Pentagon. Elon responds, specific suggestions are welcome. Cenk gives him a suggestion. But then, of course, Cenk went on to basically throw the left under the bus as a result. All it took was Elon Musk responding to one of his tweets, and then all of a sudden he turns on the left and says, I asked Musk to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon. He says, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and a Democratic leader has never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populist is disdainful to them. Now, which side seems more open and inclusive? Which side seems more welcoming, and which side tries really hard to drive you away if you disagree even a little with orthodoxy? Which side is asking for suggestions, and which one is demanding compliance and obedience? Yeah, it's definitely not the Christian fascist right-wing movement that's demanding compliance and obedience from anyone. It's the left. It's progressives like Zach and myself over here at the Vanguard who are the real fascists, according to Cenk Uygur. And I want to share with you guys this exchange too, because I think Adam Johnson put it really well in response to this tweet. Someone who's, trying to see this a little bit more optimistically, I suppose. This guy Sahil Kapoor says, policymaking should always be this transparent. And it'd be fascinating to see Congress debate this idea. So again, really buying into this bullshit and assuming that, actually, Elon Musk is, who by the way is not the president, who is not an elected official, who is literally just a billionaire who now leads a fake organization or a fake
government body.
Yeah, government body called the Department of
Government Efficiency.
Government Efficiency, yeah, which again is not a real thing. Either way, Sahil Kapoor says policymaking should always be this transparent, but I think Adam Johnson keeps it real. Truly, do you people think when mommy goes behind her hands during peekaboo, she actually disappears? They're flattering a credulous, needy media personality. This is not a real policy being discussed, and it will 100% never happen. WTF is going on. And that's what we told you guys yesterday on the show. I said there was a less than 0% chance that they would take Cenk's advice. Of course, this is what's happening. This is what's happening. They're flattering a credulous, needy media personality, one who, by the way, has been increasingly, nuzzled up to right-wing personalities. People like Patrick Bet-David, people like Ben Shapiro. Cenk is increasingly going on their turf. He's nuzzling up. He's clearly making it obvious that he wants to rebrand.
Oh, well, yeah, 1,000,000%. It's not a real policy debate. And it just screams like naivete. And more than it screams naivete, it screams like calculated, I want proximity to Elon Musk. I'd love to get Elon Musk on the Young Turks. I'd love to get Don Jr. on the Young Turks. I want to start growing my brand again. He's clearly decided he is going to bifurcate away from what he thinks is the identitarian left, which just means he's going to sell trans people down the river. It just means he's going to get on board with immigration tough talk. It just means he's going to get on board with, increasing police budgets and, shaming homeless people, kind of like they've already done. I think that's actually going to be how he salvages his relationship with Anna Kasparian, as those are going to be the kind of things that they tag team together in the long run. But guys, it has to be pretty bad when Hasan Piker is going to come out of the woodwork and body slam Cenk. He has a tweet and a video from his live stream. Gavin, do you want to throw the tweet up first?
Yep. So obviously a lot of people responded to Cenk, including Emma Vigeland, who we talked about yesterday. We can throw that up real quick one more time in case anyone missed our show from yesterday. Why does your assessment of politics change based on who pays attention to you, specifically a billionaire? Great point from Emma. Even Destiny weighed in He says sigh. So clearly, like, I mean, it's obvious what's happening. This is not a genuine attempt to influence the policy of the Trump administration in a more anti-war direction. It's a rebrand. Cenk Uygur has decided that if you can't beat him, you join him. That's what's happening. And it's very obvious. Look at the replies to any of these tweets. It's filled with a bunch of right-wingers saying, come on, Cenk, take the red pill, put on the MAGA hat, welcome to the movement, stuff like that. They know what's happening. Everyone knows what's happening. People aren't stupid. But you're right, Zach. Hasan Piker himself weighed in. Let's take a look at that real quick. Hasan replies to Cenk. He says, Unk, I don't think a defense contractor who happens to be the wealthiest billionaire on the planet is going to genuinely listen to your concerns about what parts of the budget they're going to cut. This is preferring someone to lie to you rather than one who doesn't even do that.
Yeah. Did you have any thoughts?
Oh, no.
Oh,
You?
okay. Yeah, sorry. No, I mean, yeah, I think that's completely accurate. And here, we can go ahead and fire up this clip from Hasan Piker. Sorry, Gavin, I thought you were going to add
Oh, you're good.
onto that. But we can
Ever
play this.
Thanksgiving. This was the first ever Thanksgiving that took place. Uncle Shaky Gurga, okay, Cenk Uygur, is in the
Only Hasan
crosshairs
can
of
say
Emma
that.
Vigeland, friend of the show, Emma Vigeland, because he said, I asked Elon Musk to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon. And he said, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and Democratic leaders have never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populace is disdainful to them. Now, which side seems to be more open and inclusive? Which side seems more welcoming? And which side tries really hard to drive you away if you disagree even a little with orthodoxy? Which side is asking for suggestions, and which one is demanding compliance and obedience? Autism Capital says, your pivot has been fascinating to watch. Oh, I hadn't considered that Republicans might not be genuine. I'm a rookie, so that's a shocking revelation to me. Show me the time Democrats even asked for suggestions on how to cut the Pentagon for me, you or anyone else in their base. So I'll take a
This is fucking crazy, and this is him backpedaling because he's getting raked across the coals from everybody, and not just the identitarian progressives like us and Hasan, but from everybody from Destiny to mainstream liberals. He's looking like an absolute idiot. So this is his like sad, sorry way of pretending like it was all a joke, guys. We're gonna show you another tweet from him that we've responded to that indicates it was very much not a joke. But let's hear a little more from Hasan.
Oh, I was just gonna comment once again. Like, what does Cenk want Nancy Pelosi to respond to him on Twitter too? Like, oh, if powerful leaders in the Democratic Party aren't tagging me on Twitter, then I guess I'm gonna have to become a Republican. That's basically what this boils down to.
Yeah, 100%.
conversation on it. I said, Unk, I don't think a defense contractor who happens to be the wealthiest billionaire on the planet is going to genuinely listen to your concerns about what parts of the budget they're going to cut. This is preferring someone lie to you rather than one who doesn't even do that. Unk is ready to go. He's ready to fight, dude. We're squashing this beef on Cenk's giving. Cenk's giving is going to be crazy. He is separating himself from you, Lemafayal. No, that's my uncle. Okay, shut the fuck up. Like,
see, and that was what I wanted to end the note on. He's like, hey, only I'm allowed to make fun of Cenk Uygur like this. You know, this is my uncle, and like I would never bust Hasan's balls. Like I had somebody in our response being like, "This is a fake beef between these guys." Like it's his uncle. He loves him. You know, the dude helped his family come to America. Apparently, like they were fucking living in Turkey. Like I thought Hasan was born here, but apparently not. I imagine that they've gone through a lot together. Like I have a shitload of political disagreements with like everybody in my family. My sister and I could scream at each other across the table, and we have like 95% of the same politics. You know what I mean? You can't live like that.
Yeah, 100%. Also, I mean, what's more relatable than having an uncle or a family member drift to the right as they age? I mean, yeah, everyone knows what that's like. And yeah, of course, you're going to take a slightly different tone when you're dealing with a family member than when you're dealing with just some other, random person online who you don't actually know in your personal life. So, of course, I understand Hasan for taking that approach. That being said, I am definitely looking forward to Thanksgiving this year. I'm hoping that Hasan takes the gloves off a little bit, is as friendly as their relationship is. I do think we're at the point where Hasan needs to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think he will be. He was pretty brutal last time around. They got into arguing about like the profit motive and like whether or not Cenk was entitled to make more money at TYT because he came up with the idea for TYT and all that shit. So I think it'll be spicy, but I also wanted to shred Cenk's argument that this was all just a joke, that you guys are so dumb. Oh my God, you guys don't know I was kidding. I was born yesterday. Well, here's what you're doing, bro. You're laundering MAGA's reputation with your progressive credentials, what little progressive credentials you have left. So he gets another response from Don Jr. And it says, this is a great idea that has been discussed. Oh, great. You've thought about cutting the Pentagon budget? You've thought about looking about how much money our military is spending? Congratulations, you're leading a true revolution, Don. And Cenk Uygur comes in here and he says, while the left is yelling at me while the left is yelling at me to not work with MAGA, here's Donald J. Trump Jr. saying that we should limit generals from working for defense contractors. That's a policy we've been pushing for and got nowhere with the Democrats on. Who cares who does it as long as it gets done? My guy, it's not going to get dumb, and you're retarded. Yeah. You're dumber than dirt if you think that that's what's happening. What's really happening is you're getting walked like a dog, and you keep rolling over onto your back asking for belly scratches. Yep. Fucking dingus.
Yep. 100%. And if you throw Cenk's tweet back up on screen real quick too, I think that, he's just being dishonest. Like, he says that's a policy we've been pushing for and gotten nowhere with the Democrats. He's acting like the Democrats never run on any of the policies that he advocates for, which is total bullshit. For the last couple of years, Cenk has not been able to shut up about paid family leave. And guess what? Kamala Harris made Tim Walz her vice president, someone who actually got that done in Minnesota. So yeah, do I think that they should have run on it more? Do I think they should have made it like a top 3 issue that they never shut up about? Yeah. But you can't say that the Democrats didn't cater to their base by picking Tim Walz. They did. He ran on a lot of leftist issues. He got a lot of leftist agenda items accomplished in Minnesota. And that totally was, in many ways, a gift to the base, a gift to people like us, a gift to people like Cenk who were advocating for Tim Walz to get picked. Although, in retrospect, Cenk was actually advocating for Josh Shapiro to get picked. Remember the real progressive option? So maybe not. But either way, it's just ridiculous to say that the Democrats never give a handout to their base. Like I said, that's what Tim Walz was. He was a progressive vice president that had accomplished things like paid family leave, but no credit. Now that Donald Trump won, we have to somehow grovel at the feet of MAGA and lick the boot repeatedly, which is crazy. And that's not even the only example, Zach, of Cenk totally laundering the reputation of these fools, the exact people who he was calling fascist not that long ago. Here's an interesting tweet about Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is a complicated character because he's so awful on so many things, but he did propose anti-corruption and anti-war bills. I'm not sure if people in Washington are mad at him for the terrible things he says or because of the good bills he's proposed. This is like some Jimmy Dore bullshit. I'm not even kidding. This is no different than the commentary offered by Scott Ritter on the Jimmy Dore show yesterday. I'm not even kidding, guys. Amanda, shout out to Amanda Moore. She responded to Cenk and says, does it feel good to have the dumbest motherfuckers alive quote tweeting your praise? Or are you just that hard up for Elon bucks? To which Cenk responded, your attitude seems so positive. I bet it heals the country and wins a lot of voters over to your side. Keep it going, champ.
Yeah, you know what? Republicans famously never hassle the media. Republicans famous for never taking pot shots at the people in media. That's how they won the elections. Funny, Gavin, it's actually being nice to the media and not fucking filleting them is how Trump got popular. He said, oh, I'm going to be nice to the media. No, Jake, people hate you. We're allowed to make fun of you. You're supposed to be nice to Amanda, right? That's the way the world works. Like, we're allowed to be mean to you, but if somebody with 50 fucking subscribers makes a video about the Vanguard, we have to be like, you know what? That's their American right, but I do believe in unity. See how the fucking cycle works, Cenk? Yep. You know what? You have a megaphone. Okay, maybe you're the one that people hate, unfortunately. Start doing a better job. And also, Gavin, do you know how his analysis never includes his absolutely wretched run for president? This guy announced a run for president. Well, guess what, bro? The people rejected you in droves, and you sound just like a guy you claim to hate. This is Jimmy Dore the other day. Wow, they are really scared of Matt Gaetz. Good. Oh, really, bro? The house you built of progressives was really people who were just planning the opportune moment to run to the right and sell us all out. It's pretty pathetic, and now it's completely transparent. You're a joke, Cenk.
Yep. And again, I've been unironically depressed by this red pilling, not just of America at large, but of people that used to actually seem to take Trump seriously as a threat, and Elon Musk and all of these freaking oligarchic despots that are about to take over our freaking country and rob us blind as a tax-paying electorate. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. All of a sudden, let's buddy up to these people. Let's go to Mar-a-Lago. Let's kiss the ring and suck the cock and lick the boot. So I can save my own skin and so I can remain relevant and so I can cash in on the sugar high, like I said, which will last for about a year or two. And everyone is America first, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. And then obviously a couple years down the road, people will turn on Trump. They'll turn on the Republicans. They'll turn on MAGA. And Cenk will be there. Oh, of course. Yeah. I've always hated Trump, completely ignoring the fact that he did this and humiliated himself. But I was refreshed, Zach, to see this tweet from Crystal Ball because it just reminded me of what an actual progressive, what an actual left-wing commentator sounds like. Elon plans to destroy as much of the government as possible because he recognizes it as the only force capable of limiting his labor abuses, environmental destruction, tax dollar plunder, and limitless robber baron domination. The weaker the elected government, the stronger the plutocrats. Trump aides are irritated. Elon seems to think he's co-president, but in truth, I think he believes he is vastly more powerful than Trump. I agree with that. He probably will be vastly more powerful than Trump, assuming that Trump doesn't kick him to the curb for some petty, vindictive reason. But again, I was like, thank you, Crystal. This is what Cenk would have tweeted 4 years ago, right? This is what actual progressive people with principles acknowledge and are telling their audience because they're not interested and leading their audience on this ruse, on this charade, down this path of lies and red pilling. They're not interested in propaganda. They're not interested in power or nuzzling up to people that are in power. This is the truth. And if your, so-called anti-establishment commentator of choice isn't saying this, then maybe they're not so anti-establishment. Maybe they want to join the freaking establishment.